Helen with you at 3:05. We've got 3 competitions today, and it's time for our last one, and it is huge. The Hero Dubai Desert Classic is back in Dubai, 22nd to the 25th of January. 37 years in the Middle East, and of course, the world-class field of golfers that we're used to seeing. Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, Tommy Fleetwood, and more. They're competing for a $9 million prize pool. Even if golf isn't your thing, it's such a great few days. There's live entertainment, kids' activities. We're going to be there on the Friday, so of course we're going to be talking about their new Eat Street food market as well. Of course, you can book your tickets at DubaiDesertClassic.com, but you can win with me. I actually got 4 passes for the Social on 16. This is a big prize, so it's being a big grand prize announced tomorrow. It is worth a whopping 2,780 dirhams. So this is you and 3 friends, bring the family, 4 hours of food and drink, Social on 16. But I need a finalist today. And we're all a bit tired, so I'm not even going to ask you a question. You just need to send me the word golf. That's it, golf, to 4001. Please put your name on it so the computer can hopefully pick you out of the draw. Finalists being chosen today, and then that grand prize winner getting those 4 passes for the Hero Dubai Desert Classic with more than $2,000 being chosen tomorrow. So good luck.
This is Eye on Education on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by Repton School Al Barsha. Exemplary British education for ages 3 to 18, where ambition is nurtured and potential is unlocked.
We are talking education this hour, and the KHDA decision to shorten school hours on a Friday has ultimately reshaped the rhythm of the school week for pupils, for teachers, certainly families across Dubai. And we're asking, what does that actually look like inside a school day across the term? How do leaders balance the learning, the well-being and the logistics? Michael Morley is with us today, Senior Assistant Headteacher, Pastoral, and Kyle Lewis, the Head of Year 8 at Royal Grammar School, Guildford, Dubai. And we're sharing how the kind of changes are shaking out on the ground. I mean, we're only a couple of weeks into term, Michael, but let's start with that school view. When the announcement was made, what were your priorities as a leadership team, do you think?
As a leadership team, it was understanding that this could be deemed as a bit of a panic station for those members of our school community. But for us as a leadership team, there's always calm, collective approach to it. As teachers, if there's one thing that we always are, it's adaptable, being able to roll with changes and adaptation. So for us, the main thing was to see it more as it's a structural change, but it doesn't change the purpose of what a Friday actually is. Friday is still considered an entirely full school day, and it is just as important as ever to make sure that attendance is always taking place.
And I think that's been a worry for a lot of people, that, you know, Fridays is not going to be taken as seriously. You're going to have people who might be absent, you know, having a longer weekend or travelling. And I think that's really important to emphasise, that this is still a really important learning day that makes up the week, that makes up the month, that makes up the term. And is, you know, attendance is important in order to hit those, not just the milestones of the academics, but, you know, so much that goes into that school day, be it sporting, pastoral, social as well. I wanted to ask you, Kyle, as head of Year 8, we're starting to get into the kind of the more serious academic side. How do you think it is shaping things academically for that age group in particular? Have you had to make any adjustments, or how are you making sure that, you know, you're still able to achieve what you need to achieve?
Yeah, there's been some slight adjustments, definitely. Obviously, with a shorter finish, there comes a decision that needs to be made on where that time goes. We've been quite lucky, I think, at the moment in that academically and curriculum at our school, it hasn't been affected as much. Unfortunately, we've lost our lovely Friday assemblies where we bring all the students together. But obviously, that's something we look to reintegrate in the future terms. I
think that speaks to a really important point. We're all just kind of figuring it out right now in terms of, you know, could that come back into play? I know other schools are, you know, whether it is the performances or the assemblies or that kind of other things, that, like, right now we're just going to find our feet and, you know, recalibrate. Is that fair?
Definitely.
And I think that is the fear that a lot of parents have. It's that learning time is being lost. So then, Michael, like, how do you ensure that learning across the week does remain purposeful and balanced?
It's come at a really nice time, actually. At the start of a new term, you're always going to realign on expectations and work with the staff body to make sure that they are also in themselves, the same as the students, getting back ready for a fresh start. So it couldn't really have come at a better time. So in order to make sure there's no lost learning time, it is that opportunity to sit down with the staff body, reaffirm expectations when it comes to the way that lessons are started, the way that homework is set, the purposeful start to lessons, so that students are learning straight through the door and then they're moving straight to their next lesson in a nice purposeful manner.
There was discussion around online learning as well on Fridays for a while. And I wondered, why did you as a school kind of ultimately lean towards in-person or, blended approaches there, Kyle?
Well, I mean, even just thinking back a few years ago to COVID and when we had to do the online learning.
I don't say PTSD lightly, but yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a struggle. But I think one thing that we did learn from that is that students benefit massively from face-to-face learning. And, the majority of students will benefit from that. Definitely there's going to be some students who are, can self-regulate and can learn asynchronously. But on the whole, students will learn better face-to-face, and that's something that we have to consider and take into account.
What about routine, Michael? Changes can be really tricky for children, and I'm not going to bring into the parental juggle that a lot of people are kind of working through right now in terms of working hours or, buses and drivers and all that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking about the kids now. What can really help little ones in particular adapt quickly when a structure shifts?
I think just sitting them down, actually talking them through it. A lot of students, I'm sure, with joy when they found out they could potentially leave 30 minutes earlier.
But you in my house.
I know some staff as well, actually. I think it's about having that clear conversation about the why and the purpose behind why this has been done. And ultimately, it's 30 minutes. It is not the end of the world, but it is that additional time that is then gained. It's not time lost. It's time gained in order to actually asphyxiate something else into what a student's routine might look like at the end of the day.
Do you think there are age groups, Michael, that find it easier than others to adapt to changes like that? I'm sure the little ones probably don't even know what's
do you know what? I would actually say older students probably find it a lot easier, and I think that's because of the skill set and the maturity level that comes with moving into a Key Stage 4 or Key Stage 5, 6 form situation for these students, because they've developed that skill set, as Cal's already said, where they can actually go away and work independently. And ultimately, that's what we want for our students, is to gear them towards working independently, as that is the demand upon them when they do get to 6th form, when they do get to university.
We're going to explore this, unpack this further. We're going to talk about how to use that Friday afternoon constructively. I'm asking for purely selfish reasons. Screen time bans in our household until Saturday. Michael Morley with us, and Kyle Lewis from Royal Grammar School, Guildford, Dubai. Any questions, comments, you can reach us on 4001. It is coming up to 13 minutes past 3. Producer Jen is in the studio with the latest on the roads this hour.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
Sponsored by Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
It has been surprisingly busy this afternoon, Jen. What's the latest this hour?
It has indeed. I've got 2 accidents at the moment alongside Town Square. They're both on the coastbound carriageway of the Al Qudra Road, and they're causing some fairly major delays there. We have also got an accident further down at the bottom of Sakim Street. That's kind of closer to the Al Khail Road end of things, between Al Khail and Sheikh Zayed Road, as you head towards the coast as well. So I'd be avoiding Al Qudra Sakim at the moment if you can. We've also got an accident on the southbound carriageway of the Sheikh Zayed Road alongside Dubai Internet City, and northbound the traffic there is very, very slow all the way up past Sakim Street, actually. We've got kind of patchy traffic the length and breadth of Sheikh Zayed Road, to be honest. And then we have got 2 accidents back to back there on the southbound carriageway of the E66. We've got very heavy traffic in both directions through Zabeel as a result of that. We've also got an accident in Zabeel first that is on, not actually sure what road that is, alongside Zabeel Park, and that one is causing quite a number of tailbacks in every direction from there. Once we get north of the creek, we have got a lot of red on the map. It's basically very slow moving both directions from Mirdif right up to the Ajman border. We have got 2 accidents through Sharjah's industrial area, one in Hay Al Qasimiyah, that is on the S115 where it meets the Sheikh Zayed Road. We've got an accident on the southbound carriageway of the Sheikh Zayed Road in Sharjah city centre, and the northbound traffic on Sheikh Zayed Road is going to slow down around DXB, and that's also continuing up to the safe zone. Lastly, 611, which has been really problematic today, still looking that way. We've got 3 accidents very close together between Tilal and Al Sajah, 2 on the northbound carriageway, 1 on the southbound carriageway, so that is also very slow moving in both directions. Please do drive carefully, especially if you're in the Northern Emirates. If you see anything that we've missed, you can let us know on 4001, but only when you are stationary, please.
Do you need to go and have a little lie down in the booth?
I do indeed.
Okay. Time to start. Kind of like a little mid-afternoon coffee. Jan, thank you so much. It is busy out there. Leave enough time, leave enough stopping distance, and anything we need to know, get in touch, but only when it is safe to do so.
This is Dubai Eye 103.8.
And just a little date for the diary. 6th to the 15th of February. It's the Open Masters Games Abu Dhabi 2026. This is your chance, if you're over 30, to step up to the plate, get involved in some athletics, be inspired by the spirit of sport. And the sports include rugby, sailing, beach wrestling, karate, horse riding, jumping and netball. You can register now at abudhabimasters2026.com. It's all about community connection and some friendly competition.
This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by the World.
It's the script, and I am on Dubai Eye 103.8. I have had so many people sending me the word golf. So Amanda, Sadiq, Sharon, Ayan, Safers, David, Jane and more. If you want to go into the draw and have a 1 in 5 shot, so tomorrow being our grand prize winner of 4 tickets for the Social on 16s. This is obviously passes for the Hero Dubai Desert Classic, plus 4 hours of food and drink and unrivaled views of all of the action. Just do that. Send me the word golf and your name, please, to 4001. There's the app, of course, and the WhatsApp too. I'll pick a finalist today. And then, of course, make sure you tune in tomorrow to see who's going to be going to the Hero Dubai Desert Classic in fine style.
This is Eye on Education on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by Repton School Al Barsha. Exemplary British education for ages 3 to 18, where ambition is nurtured and potential is unlocked.
We are talking education this hour, and shorter Fridays have created a lot of panic amongst parents. But what's been really interesting to unpack this hour is it is half an hour's difference, but there have needed to be adjustments when it comes to making sure that well-being, the pastoral side, but also the academics remain balanced. Joining us in studio is Michael Morley, who's the Senior Assistant Headteacher for Pastoral, and Kyle Lewis is here, the head of Year 8, both from Royal Grammar School, Guildford, Dubai. And we're talking about some practical school-side perspectives, but also, so what do we do with our Fridays now? And that's what I wanted to ask you, Michael. You know, Friday finishes, how do we encourage children, families to use that time, I don't know, and it's going to depend on the ages and the stages, positively, productively, rather than the YouTube free-for-all that a lot of kids are like, yay!
Yeah, I don't think anyone would recommend to sit down and just scroll TikTok for the next 6 or 7 hours on a Friday. Realistically, you've already mentioned it. It's the well-being side of things, to actually decompress at the end of what has been a very intense and a very long week. And I don't think it matters the age group. I think it's massively important to prioritise that. If you did want to use it purposefully, it's about that extension of time now that we have to develop yourself beyond what the academics are within a school setting. You know, it's never too early to start thinking about actually something that's quite difficult to do because it's hard to measure, but developing your confidence skills, developing your communication skills, all these soft skills that are required for the big wide world of work in the future. And of course, your schools can help with that with their extracurricular programs, but also there's plenty of things around Dubai which can help do that in a really nice, soft, nurturing way as well.
My girls came home on Friday to a to-do list from them. They were like, oh no, we've got a mean mummy list. So what I'll do, not every day, but definitely on a Friday, before I go to work, I'll get a sheet of A4 and I'll do it in different coloured, felt-tip pens so it looks friendly and fun, but it is basically a to-do list. And it is things like clean out your hamster, tidy up this, have a swim, or, go out on your bike, walk the dogs. And then it is some fun stuff like, read a chapter of your book, watch a movie. I really don't care because, as you say, Michael, it is a really busy week. Some kids might have activities before school, so they might be on campus at 6:30 in the morning. They might have activities after school. Then there's the academic side they're balancing. I think there's nothing wrong with just having a bit of downtime, to be completely honest. But Kyle, when we are starting to look at that Year 8 age group and things are starting to get maybe a bit more serious on the homework front, I am the queen of procrastination, and I was always the Sunday night homework crammer. Any advice for helping our kids to get their homework done, get some revision done independently, so it's not hanging over them all weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite similar, when the day shifted on a Friday originally to a half day with the best intentions in the world. I'm going to get all of my work done. That means I'm not going to have any work to do over the weekend, and I'm going to go into Monday fresh. And instead, in reality, what happened is you go and do a pool day instead.
Yeah,
however, I have begun to try and incorporate, especially with the additional half an hour now this week just to try and get that work done. And that's what I would probably say to the students. If you have anything left over from the week and you do have the energy and the capacity to do that, is get that done on Friday, and then you've got your entire weekend to decompress, to relax, because there is nothing worse than having a task hanging over you for the entire weekend.
I mean, I'm in my 40s and I still get that homework feeling about certain, emails, obligations, so for kids in particular. With Year 8, what are some of the kind of skills that they should be looking to upskill in, when it comes to independent study, the homework, the tasks? Because there's nothing worse than a parent being like, okay, sit down at your desk, I'm going to close the door and I want this to be done in an hour, which can feel more like punishment than encouragement.
Yeah, definitely. And I think something that we always try to encourage parents to do is to open that dialogue with the children, and not just sort of set 1 hour aside, you're going to do your work. It's have that conversation. What work are you doing? What tasks do you have? What's your maths task for this weekend? And just get into that dialogue. And usually what happens then is the students are a little bit more open to it. Mm-hmm. You get more than a one-word answer. And that's a nice little segue into trying to then have a positive spin on getting the students to do the work.
And that leads me to my last question, Michael. If you could give parents one simple kind of Friday mindset shift to help this feel positive rather than disruptive or, scary and overwhelming, what do you think it would be?
I think to understand that it's not lost time, it is very much gain time, and it's about then how you're going to personalise that gain time for your particular child and what's most going to benefit them. So to spin the narrative on it. And
also to trust in the school. I think that's a really important thing. There's so much hard work and organisation and attention that's been going on that, we as parents, some of it is communicated and some of it we simply don't need to know. We need to trust in the school, their knowledge of the curriculum, and the fact that this time is going to be really, really intentional. So both, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was going to say Happy New Year, but it honestly feels like it's March
You
already.
can still say it,
We'll still say it. Joining us from RGS, Michael and Kyle. We are going to be turning our attention to slightly older students next. Is, of course, mock exam season. So we're going to be talking revision, about stress levels, not just for the students, but for the parents too. What can you do to help?
Your ARN News.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Hosey.